Didn't have to have anybody tell me about the break. So this is my second DPL this year. It's only taken about 5 DPLs for me to be able to take care of the brakes without being told, but stay on me, guys. You guys know DPL better than I do because you're with Dennis every night. All right, I got another 30 seconds here for this break. John, it looks like YouTube is not showing. I think that's why our engineers may be in here. YouTube not showing?
Yeah, but it should be now.
Okay, let me know, John, because it looks like they have corrected that for us. So if you guys are on YouTube, or if you could switch it over to YouTube and let us know before I let our engineer out of here. That way we can make sure everybody's getting the coverage. And 10 seconds that we will hang out here until the break is coming up. So hang out for just 1 second. All right, everybody, welcome back. For those of you that are watching here on the Spot 66, we are looking pretty good out there for this lunar eclipse, and that's what we're going to start talking about now. Lunar eclipse is when the Earth gets between the sun and the moon, and we actually cast a shadow onto the moon's surface. Now, this is the one that you'll be able to look at without having any specialized glasses. Remember, it's the solar eclipse when we're looking directly at the sun for the moon to get in front of it. That's when you need those glasses. So this one's going to be good. We're not going to have any issues concerning that. All right, John, thank you. YouTube is back up. Looks like we're good. Engineers, thank you. Engineers are amazing, right? Takes them 2 seconds to see something's wrong, and then they fix it. And that's why we love them so much in this building. All right, so this lunar eclipse, I'm going to take this full screen so you guys can see it a little easier. Unfortunately, the timing is what's going to be working against us. And when I say that, it's when it's happening and in reference to when the sun is coming up and when the moon is going to be setting. So when this starts at 3:45 tomorrow morning, we'll have no issue seeing it, but it will be a little lower on the horizon than what you may be used to. I think our last total lunar eclipse a year or so ago, that one was directly overhead because it happened shortly after midnight when it went to totality. This one's going to go to totality at 6:04 in the morning, which is when the entire surface of the moon is in the Earth's inner shadow, the umbra, and it's going to turn that reddish-orange color. It's called the blood moon because of that reddish-orange tint that it gets in. A lot of you have been asking on Facebook, and I've been answering on air, but if you missed it, why the red color? What causes that? Well, the outer atmosphere of the Earth, the light from the sun will clip the outer atmosphere of the Earth, and that's what's being cast on the moon's surface. However, our atmosphere will scatter out the blue light, and that leaves the red light and the orange light. And that's why we get this reddish tint on the moon's surface, because that's the wavelength, that color wavelength that's making it to the moon's surface, not the shorter blue wavelengths. Those get scattered out by the Earth's outer atmosphere, and that's why it doesn't turn blue or it doesn't stay white. It shows up as red. So total eclipse begins at 6:04. Sunrise is at 6:52 here in Tampa tomorrow morning. So when the sun starts to come up, obviously the sky gets a lot lighter, and we want it to be completely dark and black to see the best of a lunar eclipse. So as the sun comes up tomorrow morning, obviously in the east, the moon at the same time is going to be close to setting in the Gulf in the west. So the lighting of the sky is going to dim this eclipse. It's not going to make it as vibrant as what we're used to seeing, if it was in the middle of the night. The other issue is that the moon's going to set in the Gulf as we go to about 7:02 tomorrow morning, and that's when the total eclipse will end. So it'll be below the horizon and no longer visible to us on our part of the Earth, and we won't be able to see the eclipse ending. Where it comes out of the total eclipse, the second partial eclipse begins, and then the eclipse itself ends. So that's the issue, but I still feel that if you're up early enough, between 4, 5, and even up to 6 a.m., I think you're still going to have a pretty decent show. Now, the closer to 6 a.m. we get, the closer it's getting to setting in the Gulf. So you need to give yourself a little bit of an elevation, or if you've got trees, luckily for you, if you're in a high rise or your apartment building is a lot higher, you'll be able to see over that. If you live on the Gulf, or you're going to be on the Gulf around sunrise tomorrow morning, that's when you're going to be able to see the actual eclipse setting into the Gulf. You'll still be able to see it. It'll be dim, but you'll be able to see it, and that makes for a pretty unique viewing opportunity, because how often do you ever get to see a blood red moon sinking into the Gulf instead of it being its typical white shade as well. So that's what we're looking at here for the eclipse tomorrow. I hope all that makes sense, and let me run back up to the questions to make sure that I didn't confuse anybody. Yes, Leisha, Dave, Dennis and Greg, science-y. That was my little bit of science-y here for you, talking about wavelengths and color wavelengths and how that all works out for us to see the moon and the sun and the colors that we get and all that good stuff. So that is what we're looking at here for the eclipse, and the eclipse, again, that'll be tomorrow. Let's see, 43, I've still got time. All right, next topic I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk more about this when we end on the Spot 66 and we continue here on Facebook. I'm going to hang out with you guys for a little bit before I head out for dinner. Saturday, I'm going to be joining the Trash Pirates of Madeira Beach. They are an organization started a few years ago that literally every first Saturday of the month all these pirates come together and they clean up Madeira Beach, and they have a couple of locations, and I've been working with them to finally set something up. They've invited me out numerous times, but you know my schedule. I work Saturday and Sunday and I do doubles. So when I'm not here at work, I'm home sleeping, so I don't get often to be able to go out and do these Saturday and Sunday events. Well, finally it all worked out. The stars aligned. Allie Blake is going to be coming in and working for me Saturday morning, so I can be out there not only to participate in this cleanup from 8 to 8:30. I'm going to be out there on the beach cleaning it myself with everybody else, all the other volunteers. But we're also going to be live during our 9 o'clock newscast here Saturday morning, talking to the mayor of Madeira Beach about so many things. I specifically want to highlight on the amazing recovery from Helene and Milton, and how Madeira Beach looks so stunning now, even though obviously not everybody has gotten back on their feet yet. All this time later, it takes a long time. So I want to talk to the mayor about that. Also want to talk to the mayor about Madeira Beach and what makes it so special. Because I can tell you story after story about when I was a kid and we would evacuate from the hurricanes up at Tyndall Air Force Base to come down here to MacDill, or we would evacuate to our friends in Lakeland, our military friends who are my aunt and uncle, not blood aunt and uncle. They're no longer with us, but in the summer I would come down and hang out with them, and we would always go to Madeira Beach. And Madeira Beach was my beach, my family's beach as a kid growing up in the Panhandle, but always coming down here for the summers, or always coming down here when a hurricane threatened us up there in the Panama City area. So I'm excited to get out there and highlight Madeira Beach because I know how special it is. And it was one of the main reasons why when I got into television broadcast meteorology that Tampa was always on my radar for a job, because I wanted to get back to the Madeira Beach area. So with that being said, the volunteers that show up in Madeira Beach for this, they usually have 20 to 50. The people who organize this, Candy, you guys will probably meet Candy this weekend as well. They set up a raffle for everyone who shows up. You have a chance to win a 5-gallon bucket of all kinds of swag, Madeira Beach swag. So she reached out to me today and she said, hey, any chance you guys have some Tampa Bay 28 swag you want to throw in the mix? And my buddy Dennis, not our boss, my boss Dennis, chief meteorologist Dennis, but we have Dennis that works in promotions. He gave me this whole bag that is full of some stuff, and I'm going to make sure that this ends up in that raffle as well. He approved it for me. We got a lunch box, we got a Frisbee, we got, obviously everybody can never have enough of these with the Tampa Bay 28 logo on them. So I'm excited to give this to one of our friends out in Madeira Beach that's going to be helping me this weekend. And the beach cleanup, it's literally just us going out with 5-gallon buckets. They provide all the equipment for us, the material that we need for the cleanup, gloves, the sticks, the buckets, the plastics, so we can get it all out of there and keep Madeira Beach as beautiful as possible. So I will be doing that Saturday, and I'll talk a little bit more about that coming up on Facebook. Again, we'll spend some more time on why it's important. I mean, I don't have to tell you why it's important to keep our beaches clean, but we need more help in doing just that. There are only so many hands that can do this consistently, and if we can get more hands to do it even more consistently, then our beaches stay even more beautiful and more clean. And you guys know me, I'm the Florida Beach Bum on Instagram, and I love everything that there is about salt water and salt air and our beaches. And when I was a kid, it wasn't as populated as it is now. So obviously the higher the population, the more prone you are to pollution and plastics and trash. And even if you're inland, if you're 50 miles inland, 20 miles inland, it doesn't matter. Anything that is trash on the ground will most likely end up in a waterway, and all those waterways feed into Tampa Bay or feed into the Gulf, and then it all ends up on our beaches. And not just for us, we don't want to see that out there, but clearly the animals, the sea turtles, the rays, the dolphins, the manatees, the sharks, we don't want them to ingest any of this nastiness out there just because people are lazy and not wanting to clean up. So that's what I'm going to be doing Saturday, and I'm really, really, really excited about that. So if you are thinking, what should I do this weekend? May I suggest that you come out to Madeira Beach. There are two places. The first place, which is probably the location that I'm going to be at, is Archibald Memorial Beach Park. And then let me go into the email from my friend Candy and see exactly where the second place is, because I can't remember it off the top of my head. I think it's Johns Pass, somewhere around the Johns Pass area. So bear with me while I'm scrolling through our email chain and getting this set up. Oh, you know what? Maybe it wasn't an email. I think it might have been on Facebook. Stand by. I'm going to get there for you. But yeah, if you're trying to think, that sounds like something I'd be interested in. And if you want to get on TV, I'm going to have our TV crew out there. Jason, photographer, he's going to be out there with me, and he's the one that's going to be setting us up to get us live. So again, love talking about all things Gulf Coast. And if you'd like to see me out in your town doing this with your community as well, and you have something already set up that all I have to do is just come out and clean the beach with you and talk about how amazing your beach is, let me know. Find me on Facebook. There's my Facebook page. my Florida Beach Bum Instagram handle, which I'm on Instagram more than anything else. And then I started TikTok, and I will do a TikTok video like I did about a month and a half ago when I was with Tampa Bay Watch and was doing the volunteer stuff with them. Did a TikTok video about how great it is and what we were doing there. I'm easily going to be able to do another TikTok video here for this as well. All right, scrolling. Let me find out. They posted about it. They announced that I'm going to be there on the 19th. And yes, Johns Pass Bell Tower. So Archibald Park, Johns Pass Bell Tower, 2 locations, volunteers, anybody can come. And it'll be from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. in Madeira Beach. So if you're interested or you need more information, message me. You can email me, j.adams@WFTS is my email address. And we will be cleaning up the beaches. And this is, I think, just the start of me being out there and connected with our community. And I'm always out there. I'm always volunteering. Our whole team is. We love being out there. We're not just here as robots giving you your forecast or keeping you calm during hurricane season. These are our communities too. And we want you guys to tell us where you want to see us at and volunteer in your communities or whatever it may be. Just highlight your community. Talk about someone special in the neighborhood. Let us know. All right, break number 2 coming up. And then we'll come back and then we'll talk about my buddy Ninja, my little favorite kitty. We'll be right back. All right, break number 3. Wait, is this 2 or 3? This is 3, right? This is my last break, or is this 2? Thank you, Derek, my director. He was like, nope, you're 2. So I rambled on way too long, so I'm going to have to do one more break here. I'll get this eventually. I do DPLs once every 2 months, so I think I'm doing an okay job with it, right? Since I'm not in here, obviously, every night doing it like Dennis is. All right, 1 minute left. I'm going to take a drink break. And questions. Yes, Chad, still an Ice 9 Kills fan. Can't wait for them to eventually announce that they're coming to Tampa or St. Pete. Wage War just announced that they're going to be here May, I think. And I don't know if you're a Wage War fan. By the way, I'm a metalhead. These are the conversations I have with other metalheads when they pop up on this feed. Yeah, Wage War just dropped a song. It's called Song of the Swamp. And they are Ocala boys, and they literally filmed it on location in Ocala, and they've got this floating dock that they're out in the middle of, and obviously CG'd alligators in there. But man, that gets me fired up when you have Florida boys made it big, and now they're absolutely killing it, and they come back home. They don't do these videos out in Hollywood or anywhere else. They are definitely Florida proud, and also a day to remember, they're also from Ocala too. All right, 6 seconds left, so hang out for a second. 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back. If you're joining us on the Spot 66, gonna have to do another commercial break because I talked too long. I pulled the dentist like some of you are telling me. Sandy said, yep, you're more than okay. Dennis goes a lot later than I do. So, hey, I will take that compliment. And then Linda said, yep, he's pulling a dentist. So I'll have to do another commercial break here in about 3 minutes. But let me talk to you about my buddy Ninja. Now, all of you know, Ninja's famous, like I mentioned a second ago. I haven't posted about it yet because I'm working with his vet to give us the best option, and then I wanted to ask for if you guys have had anything like this with your cats. He's fine, he is okay, and he's going to be okay, which is the best part about this, but he was recently, I was going in for his dental cleaning. He's got cat gingivitis, like it's called stomatitis, and it's an inflammatory issue that causes his gums to flame up, so he has to have his teeth cleaned. He can't not have dental cleanings, otherwise he's just in significant pain with ulcers and sores. So every year, every February, I take him in to get him his cleaning, and we took him into the cleaning, but you have to have blood work done prior to anesthesia for cats, especially with Ninja. He's 14 now. And the blood work revealed that he is diabetic. And I had no symptoms, no signs, other than the fact that he drinks so much water and uses the cat box so much. And I just thought that he just really liked water. And I didn't think anything of it because he didn't change at all. So we're right now working on a routine of insulin. And it's very weird. I have never dealt with diabetes in my life, and I think I had a grandmother that had it at some point, but I've not had any friends or family directly having to do the needle thing. I think one of my coworkers does here, but he doesn't do it around us. So I have to inject Ninja with insulin now, which is weird. We had to shave 2 little patches on his neck, and then we rotate between each neck, or each side of the neck, to make sure that scar tissue doesn't develop, because he's going to have these insulin shots for the rest of his life. So right now we're on a once-a-day routine, and we took him for what they call a blood curve, and the blood curve just sits there and tests the blood sugar and the glucose to make sure he's not hyper or hypo. And we upped it this week, one more unit once a day, because we're trying to see if we need to go to 2 a day. But the 2-a-day thing on my schedule is very difficult. Thankfully, I have amazing neighbors, and they're like, hey, we can try and help out, but it's weird asking your neighbor to come over and take care of your baby with a needle. And it's not their baby, and they may not feel comfortable with that, but thankfully, Ben, amazing. If he's watching tonight, thank you for all your help so far, and I may be asking you for some more. So tomorrow, I take him into the second glucose curve. And we're hopeful that he'll be good with the 1 shot a day and that we'll see the changes with upping it. I think we're at 3 units now of insulin per shot. If not, then we're going to have to attempt something else. But my vet, Dr. Hare, she's wonderful. Absolutely love her. She said we caught it early. He's going to be fine. But this is going to be a little bit of a life change. All right, stand by. I'm going to take this 3rd commercial break and we'll be right back. You know what I just realized? I did not write down the out time for the spot, and I used to have that. I don't know if I have enough time to, again, this is how I do things. 7:58, Director Derek. Thank you for staying back there, Derek, because again, I'm pretty new. This is how professional I am. When it comes to notes and doing this Dennis Phillips Live and all the technical stuff, I write it on a piece of paper. So it's not even paper, it's, yeah, paper towel. So I forgot that part about, oh yeah, I'm supposed to have some kind of an out time here to where I don't cut myself off. Derek, thank you again. All right, looking at some of your comments. Yeah, Stan says his cat did very well with it. Thankfully, Ninja does great with the shot. He reacted a couple of times, and one time a little bit of blood was there. So I don't know if I went in a little too much, but you pull the skin up. It's in that very skin, like light part. And he seems to be doing great with it so far. So that's our hope, is that we're going to be able to keep him with the 1 shot a day, and that we'll be able to control this moving forward. But I do feel like he's drinking a little less, and I do feel like he is responding to the insulin by not urinating as much too. So I'm hopeful that we're on the right track. All right, so we got 8 seconds, and you said 7:58 on the dot, Derek. And yep, Anna Maria, Ren, all of you, thank you. All right, welcome back. On the spot, we're going to continue this conversation here once we get off the Spot 66. So if you're watching us on air, feel free to go over to my Facebook page or Dennis's page or the Tampa Bay 28 page. We're streaming this on, and I'm going to continue to talk to you guys because I want your thoughts. I want your thoughts about everything we talked about here tonight, and then I'm going to use a lot of that time just specifically to answer your questions and also hear your thoughts on how your diabetic cats or dogs have dealt with it, and anything that I should be aware of that maybe my vet didn't tell me. But again, Dr. Hare, amazing. She's wonderful. She's been great with this. So, okay, Anna Maria said, yes, if it's similar to human diabetes, pay attention to his toe pads. I did not know that, so I will definitely be looking at that. I've noticed that he's got a little bit of peeling on his skin as well, so I'll ask her. I noticed that yesterday, so I'm going to talk to Dr. Hare about that tomorrow when we take him in for his next glucose curve. So yeah, we'll wrap up here. We got about another minute and a half. If you're watching on the Spot 66, again, carrying the conversation on Facebook. Dinner time coming up for me here in about 20-30 minutes, but I'm going to hang out with you up until that point. And we'll talk more weather, we'll talk more eclipse, and then we'll talk more about anything that you guys may be interested in me attending in your community. That's what we want to do here. The weather team is really looking for opportunities, and it's not just me, it's all of us, to come out to your neighborhoods, to your communities, and whether it be an event that you would like us to MC or host, or whether it be something that you just want us to come out and highlight that makes your specific town unique that we may not know about. If you want to see me out there doing more conservation or environmental stories, environmental issues, or just me volunteering out in the environment, I'd love to do that. You guys seen me do that several times before. The most recent one has been with Tampa Bay Watch, building oyster reef balls that we put out on the shores of all the islands in Tampa Bay to mitigate wave action, to lower erosion, but also build back those shorelines that are going away because of storm after storm, and then of course the bad storms we had back in 2024. So yes, so Spot 66, we're coming up on 25 seconds left with you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I know I'm not Dennis, but he is deserving of some time off here this week, so we're happy that he's going to get a little bit of time off. And let me know if you have any questions, or if for the next DPL that I may be on here, if there's something I didn't touch on that you would like to see, feel free to reach out to me. Again, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm on all three, and you guys have a good night on the Spot. And that's it, right? That's all I do. I don't push any more buttons. They make it so easy for us. Again, our engineers are geniuses. All right, so Facebook, we're going to continue the conversation. How about I spend some time on just you guys talking and your conversations? Let's see, I'm going to go back up. And all right, so there's where we stopped talking about the meteor, or not the meteor shower, the lunar eclipse. We'll deal with that a little bit more. Linda, thank you for watching. Kurt, yeah, we really don't sleep. Weathermen don't sleep. Weatherwomen don't sleep. And I do doubles on the weekend, so yeah, it's weird. I do Saturday morning. I try and take a quick nap in after the morning shows, and then I come back and do all Saturday evening, and then I sleep here at the station Saturday night into Sunday morning, because there's no point in me going home after midnight when we're off air and then having to be back on air at 6 a.m. I'd rather use that time to drive home to sleep. So I sleep here in the building, and then I come back in, do the morning show, and then I go home after the morning show Sunday, take a nap, and then I come back in and do the evening shows. The good part about that, though, is that work makes up for it, and they give me 4 days off a week. So that's why you don't see me often on air during the week, because I'm usually off Monday through Thursday. But again, every now and then you'll see me here and doing DPL with that. Now, Dennis, he never sleeps. That man is a robot. He is not a human being, because I don't know how he does it. He is literally up posting at 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time it is, Dennis is posting, and that's how you guys have come to rely on him so much, especially during the hurricane season. All right, let's see. Scrolled past the break talk. Happy I got done with that and didn't mess that up. Let's see. Not so much questions. Ooh, Maria is asking for a picture of Ninja. No, I don't know if I've got one on Facebook real fast that I could pull up, and I don't have anything pulled up over there. You know what? Hey, it's Facebook. We got time. Let me scroll over here and try and get the Facebook page opened up over here and get a picture of my buddy Ninja. Yeah, he's 14. He's an all-black cat. And I don't know if you guys know the story about Ninja, but my brother kind of pawned him off on me, and it was kind of a jerk move. So I'll explain that here in a second. And I know my brother's not watching out in Kansas right now. All right, let's see. Facebook, Jason Adams. And let's see if I type in Ninja. And images. There he is. All right, let's see. No, I don't want to log into Facebook. All right, I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, so let me switch it over to this one now, and I will pull up the picture. I'm going to pull up all these random people too. I don't know who they are, but I just typed in Jason Adams Ninja, and there it is. That's my buddy Ninja on the right. That was when we were at COVID. Yep, that was the COVID times when I was working from home. But yeah, that's my little buddy. So the story about Ninja is, when I was in Arkansas as a meteorologist there, I had just lost my cat of 20 years. And that cat was a 3-legged cat. His name was Harley. And when I left to go to Florida State from Mom and Dad's, I left Harley with them because I didn't want to take him away from the other cat in the house. And then I was going to be gone from the house a long time because of school and work. And he was with family for his entire 20 years. And he was older too. So I got my first job in Arkansas. Well, technically second job. I started in Tallahassee. Then I got my job in Arkansas, and my parents went to Kansas to help my brother get his house packed up and ready to move to Japan because he got orders to go to Japan. He's in the Air Force. And when my parents dropped the cats off at my house because we didn't know how long they were going to be in Kansas, I was like, just bring them to me and then I'll take care of them while you guys are gone. Well, unfortunately, Harley, my 3-legged cat that I had for 20 years, he went into kidney failure, renal failure. So by the time you catch renal failure with cats, at least this is what the vet told us back then, 80% of their kidney function is already gone and there's nothing you can do about it. So I had to put him down. So it was kind of crazy, but it was kind of nice that he was able to come to my house where I was, and Mom and Dad didn't have to do that on their own, and I wasn't able to be there for him. So a couple days later, Mom and Dad are over there in Kansas, and then my brother, he calls me and he's like, hey, he was like, I just got orders, as you know, to Japan. I can't take the cat. We just got this cat. His name is Milo. And he was like, can you please take this cat because we got him from a kill shelter and the kids are so worried that, you know, we've taken him back. And I'm like, no. I was like, the hardest thing I've ever done in my life was having to make the decision to put my 20-year-old cat down. And I was like, I don't want to do that again. So he's like, come on. And he was like, I was like, find somebody in Wichita. They'll take him. So fast forward 2 days later, my phone rings and it's my brother and I pick it up. It's my 6-year-old nephew at that time and he's crying. And I hear my brother laughing in the background. because he coaxed my nephew, who is 6, who should be an actor because he was an amazing actor at 6 years old, to convince me to take Milo so he doesn't end up going back to the shelter that could potentially take his life. And I was like, so Caleb is his name, my nephew, and he's like, Uncle Jason, will you please take Milo? He's like, I don't want him to die. And I hear my brother laughing in the background, and I still give him so much you-know-what about this conversation because almost 15 years later, and I'm still furious that my brother did this. And I was like, all right, little buddy. I said, well, let me talk to your dad. And my brother, when he told me he was a black cat, I was like, you guys should have named him Ninja. And he's like, why? And I was like, we grew up in the 80s and 90s, and we had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and all the ninjas there were solid black. And I was like, when I saw Ninja, that's immediately what I thought of. And he was like, oh, all right. He was like, I said, well, let me talk to Caleb. So I said, Caleb, I'll take him on one condition. And he's like, what's that? And I was like, if I can change his name to Ninja. And he was like, oh, Dad, why didn't we name him Ninja? That's so cool. So that's how Ninja got his name. And then I was like, all right, let me talk to your daddy. And he hands his dad, my brother, the phone. And I was like, am I on speaker? And can Caleb hear me? And he's like, no. And then I said a lot of things that I can't say here on Facebook to my brother for using my nephew to pawn his cat off on me because my brother's kids were very upset that Milo was going to end up back in the shelter after they literally just saved him like 2 weeks ago. So I was like, you're bringing him to me. I'm not coming to Kansas. You're coming to Arkansas, and I want all the stuff you bought for him, yada, yada, yada. Fast forward to a couple of weeks after that, and Mom and Dad bring me Ninja, and that's how I got stuck with Ninja. So that's the story about Ninja. Yes, savage move from my brother, Anna Maria. You're exactly right, and I still yell at him and fuss at him for this almost every day. Yeah, let's see. Stan, you're right. They told me to, in case there's I think it's a hyperglycemia issue. It was all new to me, and it was a lot of info, so I can't remember. But she did give me a packet to go back and refer to. So with Ninja, if he has a diabetic issue, he could potentially go into seizures. He can go into a coma. Very lethargic, like he can't walk over to me if I call him. He kind of just falls. So she gave me all the signs to look for in case his insulin is just done. So she said to have pancake syrup, and there was something else. What was it? Not corn syrup. It was something sugar, some kind of sugar. And just apply that to his gums. So if he does have any kind of a diabetic issue, just put it on my fingers, open his mouth, and then just put it all over his gums, and he should come out of it pretty quickly because of how fast they absorb sugar in their gums. So thank you for that suggestion too. It might be what you're saying, the Caro syrup, but I thought she said some kind of a sugar, but she said if you got pancake syrup, which I do, she was like, you should be good if he has any issues. But that's what we're hoping, is that we caught his diabetes without any significant symptoms, meaning that we're in the early stages of it. And she said there's even a chance that if we can control it with insulin, that he may be able to kind of go into remission, I guess, with diabetes, if that's what it's called. Fructose, there you go, Sam. Thank you. Yes. And Alicia, yeah, he eats regularly, twice a day, a half a cup, and he's a dry cat food guy. He's never eaten wet food. Every time I tried, he didn't want nothing to do with it. So we got him on a glycocosine, some kind of new prescription dry food, and he gets 2 half cups a day. And I have to not let him eat overnight because I need him to be hungry in the morning so I can give him his insulin, because I can't give him his insulin until he eats. So if I miss your comment or your questions about this, I'm going to go back and look at these, because again, I want your guys' suggestions if you've dealt with it before, because this is all brand new for me with my little buddy Ninja. So that's the story with Ninja, and that is, hopefully I'll be able to just keep telling you guys that he's doing great. His insulin's great, he's great, not having any issues and all that good stuff. Mary, good night. Thank you so much for watching. And let's see. Yes, Dr. Pepper, correct, Kim. He does Diet Dr. Pepper, and I never said this because I didn't want to step on the boss's toes, but why not? This is a great opportunity to do that when he's not here and he can't yell at me. He's always been a Diet Dr. Pepper guy. I have been the Dr. Pepper guy, and I don't get no love the way that he does for his Diet Dr. Pepper consumption. So I want some Dr. Pepper love from you all, as I am the Dr. Pepper guy here. He does the diet, I have the regular Dr. Peppers back there. I probably should do diet, though, to not put so much sugar into my body, especially as I'm talking about my diabetic cat. But hey, thankfully, my blood work is all good with my annual physicals that I get. All right, so yes, talked about Ninja. Let's see, gonna go down through some more comments, see if anything else. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's get back to some weather. How about we do that? And then we'll talk a little bit more about what we're looking at here with the eclipse too. And we'll talk about the beach thing one more time, and then we will, actually I want to do it on this one. We'll do the 2-box. And then we'll I'll head out for dinner and grab some food for me tonight. All right, let's see, double box, I want that one. Thank you very much. All right, so yes, if you missed the eclipse talk, we do have a total lunar eclipse happening here tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, it's not going to be where the moon is directly overhead like the last one was. It was right after midnight. It gave us that beautiful blood moon. It's called the blood moon, but it gave us that beautiful orange-red tint. And obviously it was twilight, so it was pitch black, and the moon was just beautifully lit up. That will not be the case this time because of timing. So tomorrow morning, the eclipse is actually going to be happening between, 3:45 and 9:23. Two things working against us during that time is the sun's coming up at 6:52, that's sunrise. So the sky's going to be getting brighter and brighter, and that's going to dim the eclipse. Also, the moon is going to be setting in the Gulf by 7. So lower horizon, it's not going to be directly above head. It's going to be western sky and then going down into the Gulf. So if you're at the beach, you have the best viewing of this. And I highly suggest that you take advantage of this because it's extremely rare that we have a full blood moon in an eclipse sinking into the Gulf. I don't think that happens too often, if at all. I can't recall it. I'm sure maybe sometime in history it's done it. So yeah, if you live on the coast, you have to take advantage of this. I know it's early, but I promise you it will be an experience that you'll be like, all right, Jason, you are right. Because yes, the Gulf, you will have an unimpeded view of the eclipse going all the way down below the horizon. Now, obviously, if you are in a low spot, you got a lot of trees looking to the west, or your house, and you're in a development and the other houses are blocking it, you're not gonna get to see it go all the way down. So you'll wanna get up a little earlier to catch the beginning of the eclipse. So when we start at 3:45, that's when the left side of the moon will start to get a little dark. And then by the time we get to 4:50, that is the forecast time for us to see the partial eclipse beginning. So that's when the real dark shadow. So the 3:45 part is the Earth's outer shadow. You have an outer shadow and an inner shadow. And I won't get into the physics of why that is because I'm not an astronomer. So I don't know the exact reason for it, but I do know that because of the atmosphere of the Earth and the way that light moves through the atmosphere and the size of our planet and the size of the moon, you get a lighter shadow first, which is called the penumbral, and then you get the penumbra, which is the dark part of the shadow, and then in the umbra is when it's completely in the Earth's shadow. There's no partial left, right, the entire moon surface is covered up. So from 3:45 to 6 o'clock, that's gonna be the best viewing of this with the least amount of light from the sun coming up. Once we get to 6 o'clock, that's when we go into the total eclipse. So the entire moon surface is covered by the Earth's shadow, and that's when it's gonna have that orange glow to it. And the reason why it has that orange glow to it is because as the sun's light is coming past the outer Earth's surface, the light will be reflected through our atmosphere, and blue light, which is a shorter wavelength, gets scattered out much more easily and doesn't allow it to just go straight to the moon's surface, like orange and red light, which is a longer wavelength, which scatters out more difficultly. And that's why you get the color that you get on the moon's surface. Really cool sciencey stuff here. I don't get a chance to explain this to you on air with my 3-minute weather hits that I have, so this is obviously a great opportunity for us to do that. And then obviously when the moon sets, 7 o'clock, the sun's up, our sky on the Earth is too bright, but you won't be able to see it because it goes below the horizon around the Earth. Obviously the curve of the Earth, it's gonna be below the horizon, so we're not gonna get to see the second half of the eclipse as the moon is coming out of the Earth's shadow. All right, so that's what we're looking at here with the eclipse. Let me go and look up, see if you guys had any questions about that. Let's see. Stephanie, I'll talk about the weather in a second. Yeah, spring break weather for sure. It's looking really, really nice. Good night, Stan. Thanks for joining us. Red going to Orlando tomorrow. What's it going to be like weather-wise or eclipse-wise? If you're going for weather, just like our weather here, upper 70s to around 80 in Orlando, partly cloudy skies. You got about a 30% chance for a shower coming in off the Atlantic. Alicia, thank you. I'll look into that. Diabetic Cat Facebook group. Lots of similar stories there. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Thank you. Let's see, Neil, folks in other time zones take notes. Yes, correct. Thank you, Neil. I forget that Dennis has a global audience. So yeah, an hour back to Central and then an hour away from that, 2 hours obviously for Mountain and then 3 hours West Coast. So check with the times because they're obviously going to be a little bit different here than our times if you're in a different time zone. And let's see. There you go. So yeah, Anna Maria just talked a little bit about that. Again, just the way that light is scattered through the Earth's outer atmosphere. And that's what gives us that red glow. And it's really cool. And I wish it was I think it was about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. That was the last total lunar eclipse that we had. And that one was really, really awesome because it was in the middle of the night, all twilight, no issues with the sun and no issues with it setting on the horizon. All right, so let's talk forecast now. We'll do a little bit of weather here for you. This is your outlook here for Tuesday. We'll start with temperatures tomorrow morning in the 60s. Cloud cover wise, 30% chance we're going to see some scattered clouds, but not enough of a risk that I'm telling you, yeah, it's probably not going to be worth it to go out. It'll still be worth it. Just some passing clouds, but nothing that's overcast or mostly cloudy. Temperatures jump up to around 80 by noon, and notice it says 83 between 2 and 4. But if you live along I-75, add a couple of degrees to that because you're going to be at our warmest spot here. We have our east wind pattern setting up for us, so winds coming in off of the Atlantic, and that east wind direction is going to do two things. The first thing is it's going to deliver just a little bit of a rain chance off of the Atlantic the next couple of days. And as that east wind pattern delivers that rain chance, it's also coming in off of the cooler Atlantic waters off of the east coast. So that's why places in inland eastern Polk and all of Highlands County are going to be a little bit cooler because you're actually going to get some help cooler temperature wise, just a couple of degrees from the cooler waters of the Atlantic. Now at the same time, over the next couple of days, our Gulf sea breeze is going to try and push inland, and it actually did that tonight. We had some rain in Sarasota and Manatee counties. It fired up some rain. So with the east wind direction though coming against the sea breeze in the Gulf, it's going to hold the sea breeze west of I-75. So the East Coast sea breeze won't make it all the way to 75. The West Coast sea breeze won't make it to 75. So every day for the next 7 days, I-75 is going to be warmer because of that. 85 to 90. Wouldn't be surprised by Thursday, Friday, that we start talking about some of you getting close, if not getting to 90 for the first time this season. And usually our first 90-degree day isn't until April. It can happen January, February, March. It doesn't matter. It's Florida. But that's the setup for us, and it's going to continue to be that way all the way through next weekend, or this coming weekend. And the winds are going to be gusting at about 15 to 25 miles per hour. But as far as any kind of a significant rain chance, it's not that. It'll be very spotty. Notice Futurecast shows just that. As we go back to 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to 4, 5, 6 o'clock, you can see some green and yellow showing up, indicating a few isolated showers. So coverage tomorrow, 20%. Then as we go from Wednesday on, I've got it around 30%, with the best chance being along the Highway 17 corridor here in 27 from Polk County south. So that's a look at the rain chance, that's a look at the setup, and that's why we're going to be a little hotter here for those of you along I-75. I had mentioned that some of you saw a little bit of rain tonight in Sarasota and Manatee counties. We'll zoom in here, and it looks like it's still raining here in Sarasota. The heaviest of the rain starting to break up because we lost daytime heating. That's also what helps with these showers. I don't think we heard any rumbles of thunder. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see any lightning showing up here on our lightning counter, but right over top of us in Venice and Nokomis. Nokomis, you're one of my favorite beach spots as well. I haven't been down there since before Helene though. I really need to get down there. It's been a long time. It's been a couple of years. I love paddling over from Nokomis Beach over to Snake Island and then all the other little islands in between there. And when the Gulf water is coming in through the inlet, it just turns that into a Caribbean paradise out there with the manatees. You can see 15-foot depth down. You see sharks in there. You can see rays. So yeah, love, love, love Nokomis and Casey Key. Venice, I love that. It's literally when you cross over the pass and then the sand turns dark. So like north of here, you still have the light sand and then you get the darker sand. But obviously this is also a hot spot beach bum wise for all the shark's teeth. You can get a ton of shark's teeth. Like literally the first scoop that I took, I had 2 shark's teeth, little shark's teeth in there. So yeah, Venice South, that's where you have the best opportunities to get some shark teeth if you're wondering about beach bum wise. Yeah, so a little bit more rain through Northport as well. It's lightening up here for you as well. Unfortunately, didn't get much in Sarasota today. Siesta Key, you're looking good, and then everybody else, nothing happening. And this little bit of green that you're seeing here showing up on the radar, I'm sure Dennis has talked about it. It's just ground clutter. It's an oversensitive radar here. When we get past sunset, you get this thing called an inversion, and sometimes that can make it look like there's something on the radar, but that's not what's happening here. So that's what's happening now, what's happening ahead, and as we look at Florida's most accurate 7-day forecast, here's what it looks like for the next 7 days. If you're at the coast, West Coast, a little cooler. I-75, this is probably what your numbers are going to be most likely looking like, and we could get up to 90. And it is exciting to see the rain chance back on the 7-day, even though we're not in the rainy season, but it's very spotty, quick moving showers. If we're lucky, like Sarasota County was today, a couple of those heavier pockets fell on the same place a few times, 1/4 of an inch of rain out of that easily. But most of this is going to be light, not really measurable, certainly not helping us with the drought and the wildfires that thankfully are, at least at this point, seems like we're pretty good spot after all that Friday rain that we had back on Friday night. And then the national fire happening down the Everglades, I posted it to our Facebook pages last night, that there was actually a decent thunderstorm, but it was a severe thunderstorm that was over top of that fire. Didn't put it out, but it certainly helped. The concern, though, was that lightning strikes around the storm where it wasn't raining could trigger more fires. I don't think that happened. I haven't seen that being the case there. So some good news certainly as well with that. So yes, the next 7 days, chance of rain. Drought's going to continue. It's the dry season, so no surprises there. Water restrictions continue as well. Let me pull up the drought monitor, the latest one. I do have that in my show too. And if you're wondering, this was from Thursday. This does not include Friday's rain chances in. We will get that this Thursday. The drought monitor is done Tuesday from all the data from the week before, and then 2 days later we get it. And this tells us exactly where the worst part of the drought is. So look at the dry, moderate, severe, extreme, and exceptional categories that are at the top. Look at that as basically level 1 through 5. And 1 being the least amount of concern, 5 being the highest concern with the exceptional drought. Thankfully, we're not there yet. We probably will, though, before we get to the rainy season. But as you can clearly see in red, we're all sitting at level 4, extreme, from St. Pete, South Tampa, Brandon, over to Lithia, south, including all of Bradenton, Sarasota, and getting over to Sebring, Wauchula, Frostproof, you're in it as well. Fort Meade, Bartow, you're on the line. Arcadia, Zolfo Springs, Placid Lakes, Sylvan Shores, Sebring, and Avon Park, again, all in the worst part of the drought in our area right now. And we're also looking at that being the case for northern Citrus County. The rest of us that are in this severe drought, it's still a severe drought. You're 1 level less, but it's still a severe drought. And in order for us to end the drought, if we could get one system right now that would come in and drop a ton of rain, how much would we need to end the drought, fill the aquifers back up, get off the water restrictions? We would need 10 to 15 inches of rainfall. That's not going to happen. You can get a slow moving or stalled front that can drop some rainfall in the spring season, some pretty heavy rain at that point. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Haven't seen a situation happen like that in a while. Obviously, a slow moving low pressure, non-tropical low could come in and help us out, but usually without it being a tropical system, those don't give us more than a couple of inches of rainfall. And honestly, we don't want 10 to 15 inches of rain at one point. That would lead to flooding. Yes, you can go from drought to flooding if you get 10 to 15 inches of rain. We'd like to see that scattered about over a 2, 3, 4 week period to really help those aquifer levels go. So that's what we're looking at latest drought wise. And if you are a Plant City lover and you're going to the Strawberry Festival, here's the forecast in Plant City for tomorrow. Got you into the mid 80s. And by the way, I am a huge fan, and the first time I had it was when I moved to Tampa in 2017, of strawberry pizza. And if you've never had strawberry pizza, I told our producer Peter tonight, because he's going tomorrow, and I told him you've got to find a stand that is doing just the strawberry pizza. Get it. And I was like, and then you're going to text me and tell me your life has changed for the better, and you're welcome. Because yes, your life will be for the better. It is not what you think it is, but it is a graham cracker crust, like some cream cheese or something else in it, and then they pour the syrup on it, is like the spaghetti sauce and the tomato sauce, and then they put sliced pieces of strawberry on it, which is kind of like the pepperoni. So that's why it's called strawberry pizza. Plant City does it no better than, nobody does it better than Plant City. That's what I'm trying to say, because it is amazing. So yes, if you go to the Strawberry Festival and you try it for the first time, let me know. Your life is going to change. I promise you, and you're going to thank me for it. So I will just tell you you're welcome now. And anybody who has had strawberry pizza already, you know what I'm saying. So just affirm this here in the comment section and let me know, yes, I'm right. I know I'm right with that, because it is wonderful. All right, guys, I think that is going to do it for me. I went on about 20 minutes after the show ended, so not bad. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Dennis will be back next week. Again, you will have Greg, I believe, for the rest of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Dennis and Shay are off this week, so you've got me tonight. I'll be back this weekend, and then you've got Allie that she'll be doing the morning show in traffic. Greg will be doing all the evening shows, and then I will be back this weekend. And don't forget, again, find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram. Instagram's where I go to check all of my DMs before I do anything else. If you want me to come out to your community to do a beach cleanup, that's my shtick. That's what I'm going to be doing. I volunteer in all kinds of places, and this year I've made it a point to volunteer at food pantries at least once a month. So I've been going over to the Causeway Boulevard Feeding Tampa Bay area. It's amazing. In that one warehouse, they've got like 15 different things that you can volunteer for. And I did my favorite one last month, and I was a waiter, basically. And those that were food hungry or food underserved, they were or insecure, I should say. They were coming in, and we had over 200 people that came in, and I got to serve them Cuban sandwiches, pizza. They brought their kids in, and it's just one meal. But it was amazing because I got to meet people, and people that recognized me. They were like, "Oh, thank you for being out here volunteering," and it made me feel special because these people are telling me, "Thank you for coming out here." But I just wanted to tell them, like, I'm so thankful that you're here, that we can help, and that there are these things that can help, and there are these companies and places that can help. Metropolitan Ministries is another one that we work with here at Tampa Bay 28. So yeah, I was a waiter at that one, and then the month before that one, they have basically a little shopping center that people can come in and get produce, get healthy meals, kids meals. They can even get dog food and things like that. You can get laundry detergents, all kinds of things. If you can't volunteer your time, which is totally fine, we're so busy in this day and age, but you're able to maybe do a cash donation or supply donation. That's another opportunity for you to help out our community, because I got to tell you, COVID changed everything for me when it came to how little I knew outside of my very blessed bubble that I'm in. COVID changed it all, and seeing the lines for food during COVID when 30 million Americans were laid off, I just couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. So I made it a point after COVID that I wanted to start working with the warehouses, trying to help the cash donations. If I couldn't volunteer, giving them $50 that month, whatever it is. So that's what I'm doing, but I also want to continue all of my beach love and my conservation efforts, my environmental protection, anything that you think would be a good opportunity for me and Tampa Bay 28 to come out and highlight. I'd love to do it. Saturday, meet me at Madeira Beach at Archibald Park. I'll be out there, Archibald Memorial Beach Park, with my friends that are with the Trash Pirates of Madeira Beach. We're going to be doing a 2-hour beach cleanup there, and then I'll be broadcasting live during our 9 o'clock newscast to highlight all things Madeira Beach and how great it is, and how the community has really come back after all the damage that we had from Helene and Milton. So that's that. I will let you guys go. Thanks again for hanging out with me tonight. I hope you have a wonderful week, and Greg will see you tomorrow night here on DPL. Good night. Okay. Stop output.